let us see the factors influencing mass vesting. The major factors responsible for mass movements are shear strength of mass, slope of the land, weathering and climate, water content of the mass, vegetation, overloading, geology and structure, thickness of the soil cover and the triggering mechanism. When the gravitational force acting on a slope exceeds its resisting force, slope failure occurs. The resisting forces helping to maintain the slope stability include the slope material's strength and cohesion, the amount of internal friction between grains and any external support of the slope. These factors collectively define a slope's shear strength. Opposing a slope's shear strength is the force of gravity. Gravity operates vertically, but has a component acting parallel to the slope, thereby causing instability. All slopes are in a state of dynamic equilibrium. It means that they are constantly adjusting to new circumstances and conditions. The greater a slope's angle, the greater the chance of mass vesting. Excavations for road cuts and hillside buildings are another major cause for slope failures. Grading the slope too steeply or cutting into its sides increases the stress and increases the mass movements. Weathering and climate are important factors. Mass vesting is more likely to occur in loose or poorly consolidated slope material than in solid bedrocks. As soon as solid rock is exposed at the earth's surface, weathering begins to disintegrate and decompose it, thereby reducing its shear strength and increasing its susceptibility to mass movement. The deeper the weathering zone extends, the greater the likelihood of some types of mass movements. Water content is another factor. The amount of water in rock or soil influences slope stability. Large quantities of water from melting snow or heavy rains greatly increase the likelihood of slope failures. The additional weight that water adds to a slope can be enough to cause mass movements. Vegetation affects slope stability in several ways. By absorbing the water from a rainstorm, vegetation decreases water saturation of a slope's material, and the resultant loss of shear strength creates mass vesting. The removal of vegetation by either natural or human activity is a major cause of many mass movements. Overloading is almost always the result of human activity, resulting in dumping, filling or piling up of material on the slopes. These activities may lead to mass movements. The additional weight created by overloading increases the water pressure with the material, which in turn decreases its shear strength and weakening the slope material. Geology and slope stability also to be considered. The relationship between topography and the geology of the area are important in determining the slope stability. If the rocks underlying a slope dip in the same direction as the slope, mass vesting is more likely to occur than if the rocks are horizontal or dipping in the opposite direction.